So it is interesting, though, that, I mean, we're kind of got consensus, but we got some little difference here, but there's something at the top of the stream, that the farthest you can go upstream, that if we do this one thing well, no matter what else we're doing in church, but if we help multiply this one thing, not just attenders, not just people that are listening to message, which is how we measure, right? We measure people in the seats and the money in the offering plate, but when we think of what is it that you're trying to scale, that's a very good question. And then you can build the supporting structures around there, even from a platform point of view. And I think, by the way, all the answers have validity. Andy Stanley takes an interesting approach. The one thing he says, we don't really pay attention to attendance. He says, but the one thing we pay attention to is the number of people every week that become part of a life group. And he says, because once we get people into a life group, that's kind of the place where every other good thing can happen. So I just thought of that, when you think of what it is you scale, but what action are you trying to promote? A couple thoughts that I had, and again, I haven't settled on this either, but one of the ways I've been thinking about this, but what if, like you have James 1, 22 to 25, prove yourselves to be doers of the word, not merely hearers who deceive themselves. For the man who looks at the word, and so the whole idea, what if this is a possible thing, but converting listeners, consumers, into doers, something like that. So you didn't measure just how many people are hearing it, but how many people acted upon it. And so if you look at the commands there, follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men. Luke 10:37. Some of you know what that says. I should have written the reference down. I forget what that is. But John 13:34. Just as I have loved you, so you also ought to love one another. I guess that's John 20:21. 13. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's as the Father sent me, so am I sending you. And there's so what happens is the commercial world has hijacked the word conversion. And conversion in the commercial world means when you turn lookers into buyers. You know what I mean? You're on a website, when you click and you give us your name, you just been converted. And so I'm just wondering that if we got rid of all passive measures in our church like attendance, but what action are you trying to promote, and how would you know if you did that? That's a good thing, because once you figure out that, then you can start scaling that. So if there's one person that's loving their neighbor as themselves in your church, how could you get that to 2? How could you get to 4, 8, 16, et cetera, et cetera? Whatever it is you figure out.